Hello friends, today I'm going to be making for you a banana nut bread, and I hope you enjoy it as much as we do, and let's get to baking. First of all, what we're going to do is we're going to preheat our oven to 350. So I got the oven preheating. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray my loaf pan. I like to get all this done before I even get started because you just want to be ready. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do, I hope y'all can see this okay. I had to move the camera a little bit because I needed the plug-in over here, but I'm going to combine the butter here. It calls for 1 stick of butter, 2 eggs. The butter's at room temperature, a cup of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of vanilla, 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of baking powder, and 3 ripe bananas mashed. And I'm putting in a 1/3 cup of crushed pecans, but you can use any nut you like. Or I've made this a lot of times and didn't put any nuts in them, so it's just whatever you have on hand or whatever you feel like doing. Let me get this bowl out of here. I forgot one. Sorry about that. Just trying to be prepared. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is, first of all, I got to get the sugar. I need the all-purpose flour. I didn't measure these ahead of time because I wanted to show you how I measure. Because when you're baking, your measurements have to be pretty on point. So the sugar's fine. It's the flour I think that you really have to be careful on. So I'm just going to get a cup of sugar out of here. And move this canister out of the way because it takes up some space. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is, well, let me measure all my stuff right quick because I'm going to do my, it needs half a teaspoon of salt. I use kosher salt. I guess you could use any kind you had on hand. Okay, I'm going to put that in there. Then I'm going to put a cup and a half of flour in here. This is all-purpose flour. And it's a little bit early here today. I couldn't sleep, so I got up early. So I'm still trying to wake up. When you can't see that. When you're measuring your flour, you just want to spoon it in and then level it off. They're saying this is the way you're supposed to do it now, but I haven't always done it this way. But they're saying this is the right way to do it, so we're going to do it this way now. Okay, that's a cup. And then you just kind of level it off so you got your measurement correctly. Now I'm going to put it in that bowl. Now I need a half a cup. I'm going to level it off. Okay, that's your 1.5 cups of flour. Now I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, oops. And the recipe calls for a teaspoon of baking soda. So that would be this one. And I just level it off in there. A teaspoon of baking powder. I've already got the salt in there. And now I'm going to take my whisk and I'm going to whisk it around. The recipe says you need to sift it, but I never do. So I just take my whisk and whisk it around to get any you know, bubbles or anything out, or hard pieces, I mean. Anyways, now I'm going to get my butter and my sugar going here. You don't need to do it for a certain amount of time or anything. And also when you're baking, I take my eggs out so I can get them room temperature. It seems like your stuff always turns out a little bit better when your eggs are at room temperature. And I don't crack my egg into my bowl in case I get a shell. It's easier to fish it out if it's in a bowl by itself. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue mixing this. You want to put one egg at a time. Pretty good. I'll mix it better in a minute. And then you want to get a teaspoon of vanilla. Is that right? Yep. And I go ahead and mix it in. Now I'm a train wreck this morning. Like I said, I haven't been up long, so you have to bear with me, please. Okay, now that I got all my wet ingredients in there, I'm going to add my dry ingredients, which is what I put in this bowl here. And you just put a little bit at a time, otherwise you'll be wearing it. Only want to mix it until everything is wet. If you over mix it, it's going to make the bread a little tough. Okay, sorry, I was trying to get more of that off of there. That's my oven saying it's ready. I want all that off of there, so I'm going to take the time for a second to get more off my beaters. Hope y'all are having a good day so far. I am. I just couldn't sleep last night. I was having some really dumb dreams, and I decided it's time to get up. Now for the bananas, you want really ripe bananas. The riper they are, the sweeter they are. And so I found some at the store that was already ripe, so I thought, well, that'd be a perfect time to do banana nut bread. It's not very long getting it put together, but it has to stay in the oven for anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. And sometimes when it comes out, it'll be kind of dark, but you got to leave it in there a little bit longer than you would think you would, so the middle will be done. You don't want your middle to not be done. Now I'm just going to mash these bananas up. And when they're soft like this, you can just take a fork This makes one loaf pan. And you can see there's not a lot of batter in there really. And I just keep doing it. Unless you like big chunks, leave them in big chunks. But I like to make it a little bit liquidy. And the more you stir it, the softer and more pliable and stuff they are. Because I'm just going to fold these in. I'm not going to turn the mixer back on. I'm just going to dump them in. It's not really folding them in. It's just not, the mixer will tear them up to shreds. So, you know, to fold it in, you just go under and over until they're all incorporated good. And now, while I got that going, I'm going to go ahead and add my pecans. I'm using 1/3 of a cup. If you like more, use more. If you don't like nuts at all, just leave them out. The original recipe don't even call for nuts, but when I make banana bread, it's got to have nuts in it. In fact, I've done it a couple times without it, and my daughter's like, "Where's the nuts?" And then you just put it in your prepared pan. I sprayed this one with spray. And then I kind of just, you know, spread it out a little bit so it bakes evenly. You really want it to bake evenly so you won't have some places done and some others not. Okay, now I'm fixing to pop this in the oven. My hands are clean, y'all. I just washed them. Washing them again. Okay. Now we're just going to, I like to shape mine a little bit, kind of, that way it gives me the, make sure it's all even. I stick it on the top rack in the oven, and I'm going to set my timer for 45 minutes because it should be done between 45 minutes and sometimes maybe an hour and a half. I mean, not an hour and a half, an hour and 5 minutes. So I just start checking it at 45 minutes to see where it's at. Okay, I'm going to pause this video for a few minutes and then I'll be back so you can see what it looks like. Thank you for watching. Hello y'all, I'm back. This is the timer just went off for 45 minutes, so I'm going to pull it out and we're going to check it. I don't think it's done yet, but I always like to check it. Everybody's oven's different, so you just have to check it. Well, it's a little bit wet on there, see that? I'm going to put it back in there for probably about 10 minutes. I mean, this end looked like it's pretty done. It's looking good though. So I'm going to put it back in there. I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes. And then we'll come back and we'll check it again. Thank you. Okay, the timer just went off for that extra 10 minutes. So we're going to check it again. On this side it looks really good. Well, I think it's done. The toothpick came out clean, so we're going to say it's done, and I'm going to put it on this rack right here so it can cool off a little bit. I don't know if y'all can see that. There you go. Ah, there we go. I'm going to let it sit here probably about 10 minutes in the pan. And then I'm going to take it out and let it set for about 20 minutes, and then we'll cut into it and see what it looks like, okay? I'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you. Hello guys, we're back now. I let it set in the pan for 10 minutes, and then I moved it to this cooling rack when I took it out of the pan, and I let it set for 20 minutes. The best way to cut this is with a serrated knife, which has those little ridges there. It's just easier to cut. And I haven't cut into it yet, so I don't know what it looks like, but we're going to do it together. So here we go. Hope y'all can see this okay. It's still a little warm. I probably should have waited and let it get cooler a little bit more, but this is our banana nut bread. I'll just cut a few pieces so y'all can see what it looks like, but you can see all the little specks of banana in there. Oh, I can't see. But anyways, that's it. And it's really, really good. Like I said, we enjoy it a lot. And I hope y'all try this recipe. And I hope y'all enjoy it as much as we do. Now I'm going to be doing a 3-part series video up next, so I hope y'all will stay tuned. And if you're watching on YouTube, I hope you will like it and subscribe to my channel, Grammy's Home Cooking, or if you're watching on Facebook, like it and share it, and I would appreciate that so much. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you back on my 3-part video series coming up next. Thank you.